Right, so new year, old me, or older me.
Older.
Older. Wow.
Old you or older you?
How come the year gets to be new every time and I have to be older? There's no justice in that, is there?
In your own words, Ali, it is what it is.
It is what it is, man. To be fair, I'm really not going to cry over 2020's departure. I don't think a lot of people are.
Is anybody?
It's one of them, innit? But to be fair, this is probably the one year where we've all had a chance to reflect and really, really ponder on, what we could do different. And it is what it is. Like you said, it's a shame that it took a pandemic or the world coming to a halt. It took, so much scaremongering and lives lost and restrictions. A lot of us just felt, what's the word when you're restricted is
claustrophobic.
That's one as well. Yeah, I can't. I'm not sure.
Incapacitated.
I was going to say decapitated. No, I don't think that's the one. No, if you feel decapitated, you need to see a GP or a spiritual healer. I don't know, one of the two. But no, I mean, 2021. I can see a lot of people having set New Year's resolutions this year.
Do you?
I
Why?
think so.
Why though?
Because I think it's very different to previous years. I think a lot has obviously changed and the world is a different place, but we kind of sit back and think, did I really need the world to change in order for me to change? I've wanted to do this, and this for so many years. I've wanted to spend time with my family for years, with the kids. I've wanted to lose weight, for a long time. I've wanted to read more. I've wanted to change my career. I've wanted to start a new business. I've wanted to go to the gym. I think that's pretty much the top 10, isn't it, of New Year's resolutions. Do you do New Year's resolutions?
The last time I did, or at least thought about a New Year's resolution was probably when I was a teenager.
It wasn't that long ago then.
No, not long ago at all. Yeah. Remember it like yesterday, yeah. It practically yesterday.
It was, isn't it? If you take out weekends and bank holidays, it really was. Okay. Yeah. What was it?
Lose weight.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, you see, I have always been one of the chubbiest kids in class, traditionally, throughout the whole of my school days. I was the fattest kid in the year, from what I remember.
What school did you go to?
No, trust me, if you saw any of my old pictures, you'd see that I was humongous.
I'm sure we could pull a picture up, right? Is that,
I'd rather you
get the producer on there, yeah?
I'd rather you did it.
Okay.
But there's people who know me from school days.
So you carried that into your sort of teenage years, adulthood?
Yeah, I remember distinctly when I lost that weight. And that was when, you see, what used to happen, it wasn't over New Year's per se, but it was always during the summer holidays. I used to think to myself, right, next year when I go back to school in the new year,
I'm not going to be the fat kid anymore.
Yeah,
okay.
And anyone who's going to see me, they're going to be like, wow, Majid, how did you do that? What happened to you?
Who's that guy?
Who's that guy? You like the Bollywood style with the shades on. Comes out, yeah.
Did it ever go down like that? Did you ever lose it?
Yes, it did. It did, but not during school days.
Okay.
It was actually during university days when, sadly, in 1998, my nanny passed away. And I went to Pakistan with my mum, and I was struck with some kind of an illness. It was, in Urdu, they call it heza. And so it's like a heat wave. It's like I can't remember the...
I thought that's the one where you drink too much water, isn't it? Was it the other way around?
No, it was when you dehydrate.
Okay. So you need to drink water. Maybe I got it wrong. Okay.
So I remember I used to go out, over to the bazaars and everything in the really hot weather. And I'd shaved my head at the time, because I used to have hair at the time. And I'd shaved my head for the first time. And it was hot out there. And I used to do a lot of physical activities, like going and walking around to different places. And then when I came back the following year for my second year at university, when people saw me, it was literally like, they had to take a double look to confirm it was me. It was a good feeling. It didn't happen when I wanted it to happen. Where it happened.
So they went from like having to look twice to see all of you.
All of me.
to having to look twice to see if it is you. Wow. Okay, that's quite a story, man.
That's a good
so
one.
One trip to Pakistan did that, huh?
It did then,
To be fair, a hot climate like that can do it.
Yeah, it can. And I love going to Pakistan for many reasons, but that's one of the reasons. I always kind of shed off the extra, I still call it puppy fat because I'm still a young lad. But yeah, I still kind of, it helps to kind of really take all the excess water out of your body, detox. You're eating fresh vegetables and fruits and stuff like that.
I'm not good when I go to Pakistan. I don't eat fresh.
Tikka boti and stuff, yeah?
Yeah, oh man. Because you can, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think if anything, I know it's changing now, but I trust the products out there a little bit more than here, especially the fresh meat and that, because you slaughter your own animals, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you kind of rear them and raise them yourselves and everything else. But okay. So that was your last New Year's resolution then?
Well, it wasn't a resolution for which reason I lost all that weight, but the last resolution I had was during my teenage years. And I remember at the time thinking, this isn't for me. I don't do New Year's resolution. Now, as I've grown up though, I don't feel, New Year's resolutions are made the way they should be made if people choose to make them. Yeah. You see, for me personally, I don't think, you should wait for a new year if you want to achieve something in particular, a goal. If you want to achieve something tomorrow, you start that today if you really want to achieve it. And people who leave them, let them, hold themselves back before a specific date. I mean, who knows? We've all heard the old saying, you never know, will you even reach tomorrow? God knows whether we even get to see ourselves tomorrow or whether we live Very to see true, tomorrow. Yeah. So for that reason, I think those people who really want to make a change in anything of significance, then they won't wait for a specific date to make that change. Now, whether it's to change something, whether it's to achieve something, which is different, maybe a change that's required, or maybe it's an achieving of something that's required. The problem I see is people, when they're looking at New Year's resolutions, they just wishy-washy kind of dreams. I wish I dream of seeing myself in this way. So you might have...
That's it. There's a difference between I want to and I'm going to.
Yeah, sorry. Reshna just mentioned it was a heat stroke. Yes.
Is heat stroke, right?
Heat stroke, yeah. That's what I read, yeah.
You know what? I know this is off topic, but I was told that that's something you get from drinking water and eating watermelons.
I have no idea what it was. All I remember was I got a big decal.
But it worked for you, though.
Yeah, it worked for me. Yeah.
Inevitably, the results were good.
James says, I don't think I ever made a resolution. I have changed things in my life on my own, on my terms, when I was ready and wanted to make the change. Exactly that, James. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Those people...
Isn't that what a resolution is, though?
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be on a new year, does
it? No, it doesn't. I think the reason people do it in January or when the new year starts is it's a bit of a fresh start. One, it's zero, isn't it? Or it's starting from one. So the calendar and all this stuff makes it easier anyway. But apart from that, it's a bit of a collective thing. People generally share with one another what their New Year's resolution is. And you'll probably find other like-minded people who want to do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
it becomes a bit of a group, doesn't it?
It is. I mean, Shabazz just says, I used to make them, but I don't think I have committed to something. The thing is, the problem we have with New Year's resolutions is that we're made to believe that you make a wish and it'll come true, right? Yeah. And it's rare that people, whenever any kind of resolution is made, the sound of the word resolution itself is a bit scary and daunting to some
serious,
people.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's serious. Like, people have commitment issues. Come on, man, give them a different word.
Yeah.
If you have an issue with the word resolution, think of a different word. You don't have to use the word resolution. I would say whenever somebody has a goal or they want to make any kind of change in their lives, they need to be goals which have certain attributes to them, right? So whether it's a New Year's resolution or whether it's a change that you want to make, whether it's a goal you want to hit, you need to be detailed in exactly what you're wanting to achieve. We have nowadays people saying, right, New Year, I'm going to lose weight. Okay. How much weight are you wanting to lose? In what time period are you going to lose that weight? How are you going to lose that weight? What's the motivation? What's the time that you're going to spend? What kind of lifestyle changes are you going to make?
It's the how that gets me.
Yeah.
I know how much weight I want to lose.
Yeah.
I know when I want to lose it by. I just don't know how.
No, I think you do know how.
So I've got the what, where,
But
and everything else.
I don't think you want it enough. It's in your own words.
And that's what I say. You know, even I think it was just the other day, I was supposed to have done something. And I think my wife asked me, you know, have you done such and such? And I wanted to say, because the natural thing is to say, I didn't have time. But the truth is, I didn't make time. I had the time.
Yeah.
I just didn't make it for that activity, whatever that was, that task, that chore. And it's the same with weight. And I think we had this conversation a few weeks ago because
we were in the car,
we eat. Like we really eat. Majid maybe not so much so, but I eat. And I was just saying to you, wasn't I, that if I wanted to lose weight, if I wanted to have a six pack, I would. I just don't think I want it enough. I wouldn't mind it. It's one of those things. If it was an over the counter transaction and you said to me, right, so what can I get you? Would you like a six pack? Oh yeah, sure. Thank you very much. There you go. Done. I'd have it. But if it's one of those long drawn things where I have to eat healthy and not eat so much and not eat before bed and exercise every day and all of that, do I still want it? Yeah,
it's questionable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's questionable.
Zishan says, I'm making a New Year resolution for at least 1 month and it may turn into a habit, which is interesting. I think Ahmed has a very interesting point. He says resolution means to resolve, to complete. Yeah. If you can't complete small things, you are not going to complete big things. Exactly. You see, this is, Ahmed makes a very valid point here. The other problem, I think, with what people, some people who are coaches, they train people to kind of help them achieve certain goals. And I have my contentions with not just coaches, because that's a different conversation altogether, who is actually a coach. But what about what's being advocated to their clients? Some people, the masses sometimes are being taught, think about SMART goals. Yeah. You must have heard this in business terminology. When you want to achieve something, you want to create SMART goals, which are S standing for specific, standing for measurable, attainable, relevant, and time based. Yeah. Now the thing is, I agree with time based. I agree with specific. The more specific you are about a goal, the more likely you are to vision it and envisage it and feel it and touch it and smell. Like really imagine yourself in that moment. I agree with all that thing. Yeah, it has to be measurable, because if you don't let somebody says I want to lose weight for the new year, how much weight? Oh, I just want to look good in my clothes. That's not specific enough in my eyes anyway, So I would say people lose, the direction by...
It's got to be structured. Wanting to lose weight or wanting to look good is, in itself is a great goal, yeah?
Yeah.
But then if you're not measuring it at all and you've gone 2 weeks just eating leaves and salad and greens and whatever, and then you think... I still look the same. Like I haven't got anything to go by. Yeah, I feel like a doner kebab.
I don't want a doner kebab.
And then you'll just go and eat whatever you want, thinking, you know what? I haven't set myself any kind of landmarks or anything like that. Whereas, for example, people who train or have PTs or have a gym routine will tell you about cheat days or cheat meals.
Yeah.
And I never understood it at first, and I thought, and now I'm thinking it makes so much sense. What's the incentive on eating healthy for 6 days? It's that you can have a burger or you can have, cheese on your pasta.
I don't even go to that extreme. When I want to, I know for me personally, my body, everyone's body type is different, right? For my body, I know if the moment I start becoming more active, because I have a lot of desk-based activities that I have to, for my clients, right? So I'm bound to my desk.
Desk-based, not death-based. He's not an assassin. He's not anymore.
Well, there can be in my line of work. So desk-based activities. I know the moment I'm a bit more active and I'm eating relatively healthy, I don't have to give up anything as long as it's in moderation. My problem is the sweet stuff. Sweetness is my weakness. Hashtag that a long time ago. Ahmed, another great point here. For most people, it's not a knowledge issue, knowing what to do. It is a priority issue. It is an urgency issue. And that comes back to what you were saying, isn't it? He also mentioned that you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Has quoted that, which is interesting.
Who's that by?
I don't know. Like Ahmed, if you want to tell us who that quote is by. If you really want to start progressing on your goals, you have to look at your systems, your behaviors, your habits, and the starting point really is your thoughts. And we were discussing this again earlier on, that a lot of the times people forget that it's not just a wish or desire. I mean, the thought process and being mentally prepared to understand what are the challenges that are going to come, what are the obstacles that might come your way, what are the sacrifices you may have to make. All these things have to be really thought through. Again, most people when they think about New Year resolutions, it's just a wish. Even with SMART goals, I have my contentions, as I said earlier on, about SMART goals. When it comes to losing weight, maybe okay, SMART goals, good to have, right? Attainable, realistic, and all that. But in life, I think if anyone wants to achieve something, nobody achieved the most significant of things, or the most greatest of achievements were not done by following SMART goals, because they weren't attainable. Didn't somebody think that these are realistic, these are attainable goals? If you want to go above that, you're going to go above attainable, outside the realistic and attainable boundaries, don't you? Atomic Habits is called by James Clear, Ahmed says.
Thank you.
I just want to say it's very hard to make resolutions on lockdown. For example, I want to start work, go gym, visit friends, more visit family, more. It's impossible at the moment. Omia says, you know what? I think when you want to achieve something, you can either go with these obstacles and use them as a reason not to go and achieve something.
It's all about your own mindset, isn't it?
It is.
Everybody's got two. Well, we've got vision, right? For those with, whether it's a mental capacity or a physical, but you have to choose what you're going to focus on. Are you going to focus on your goals and how to get them, or are you going to focus on the obstacles and what stands in your path?
Again, a brilliant comment. He's tuned in after a while and he's dropping some bars tonight, Ahmed. Come on, go on, Mr. Khan. So he's saying, no, not goals. Think about habits. Goals will take care of themselves. Results are a byproduct of beneficial behaviors.
And I think this 100%. shows in statistics by YouGov and pretty much any survey done, is that about a quarter of us will make a New Year's resolution. Over 3/4 of those people that make a New Year's resolution, 80%, will have just lost it by February.
Yeah, I read that by mid-February.
Yeah,
80% of people who make
done. And it goes exactly back to what Ahmed was saying, that if you haven't made it a habit, a routine, a part of your lifestyle, it's very difficult to maintain.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you get past a certain stage, if you do something regularly enough, it becomes a part of your day or your week, then after a while, it's just lifestyle. It's not even a...
You see, most people don't even think that deep. You see, they live each day as it comes, and they don't think about planning how they're going to. The planning element is usually missing. And usually you don't even have to plan. If you've become accustomed, as Ahmed has pointed out, in terms of forming certain habits and a certain type of a life, then you don't even have to start planning some things, because they happen automatically again. Your goals start to become achievable, as Ahmed mentioned. Your planning doesn't even need to be kind of being done consciously, because the way you are living your life through habit, it's automatic that these things are going to happen anyway, because everything you then do, where you channel your energy, where you start to focus, it's all going to be diverted, at least in the direction of what it is you're wanting to see in your ideal life.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of these resolutions, or they're very realistic, aren't they? Like to eat healthier, to live a bit better, to lose a bit of weight, to see family a little bit more, to read a book.
The question is, Ali, why do people even make resolutions?
Because they're looking for the solution.
I can't do that.
But no, is the solution in resolutions? I think it is. I don't think it has to be confined to New Year's or anything. I understand why people do it. Personally, I don't think I've ever made a New Year's resolution. But I make resolutions all the time. Like I've wanted to lose weight for I don't know how many years.
Okay.
You know,
but not badly enough.
But not enough. If I'm offered a burger or anything, you know,
you're not going to decline it.
Am I going to decline it? Do I want the burger more, or do I want to lose weight more? And that's the telling point, isn't it? It's not me sitting there on New Year's Eve thinking, what do I really want to do this year? That's not the moment of truth. The moment of truth is when I'm either in the kebab shop or in the dessert shop and it's kind of presented to me on a plate. That's the moment of truth, isn't it? Like yourself, you love your desserts, right? And if you chose to, I don't know, distance yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
But the kids are still going to have their sundaes and cookie doughs and whatever.
No, they're not. That says everything, doesn't it? Look, it's exactly what Ahmed says. So also, I think triggers. Majid negative trigger is visiting his desserts clients. His social aspect and free gift aspect will override his desire for avoiding sugars and sweets. To be honest with you, when I have clients who have dessert businesses, such as yours truly, Mr. Controversial here, or Heavenly Desserts, or whoever they are, I never dine. Like, it's very rare for me to kind of just dine there with my mates and just come and chill with the family, and, you know, or even when there's no lockdown. If I do, I mean, especially if there's like some clients, I'd never order whilst I'm there on work. As a policy, any food business, in fact, I don't eat.
That's a conscious decision, though.
That's a conscious decision.
Different. But what if it's given it to you? What if it's gifted to you?
I'm reluctant. I mean, you gift me stuff, I'll take it from you.
No, the taking of the gift is another thing. But if there's a cake in front of you now your resolution, your goal is to lose a bit of weight or shift some pounds or whatever, or eat healthier.
No, don't give your resolutions to me. I don't.
Now there's a cake in front of you. It doesn't matter where it's come from. It doesn't matter how it's got there.
Yeah,
it's going to get eaten. The kids and the wives, and they're going to enjoy it anyway. But for now, it's in front of you. What do?
Eat it. I'm not saying that I won't eat the cake.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I will eat a bit of everything anyway.
Okay.
I don't stop myself from eating anything other than just 1 month in the year during Ramadan. Yeah. During the month of fasting, okay, it's not even a New Year's resolution, but I have a habit, as Ahmed says. I have a habit. My trigger, Ramadan is a trigger for me. Yeah. To change my lifestyle in a drastic way. I won't even say drastic because I'm accustomed to it. I enjoy it. I love it so much. So yes, I will not eat desserts and stuff.
For the month? Okay.
I don't even eat meat for the month. In the main, I sometimes eat grilled chicken, but no other type of meat.
Samosa, pakore, kebabs.
Nothing fried. Nothing.
Does your rosa even count, bro?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that one up.
So for the whole month, and I do like a 10-mile bike ride every day as well. Yeah, and
you're just kind of
no, but you've known me for long enough to know that I do all that.
Yeah, I've seen you in your high vis going past. Yeah,
and so that helps me get back into shape and trim and firm up and everything. Yeah. Now that's a habit for me, a monthly habit, an annual habit. Sorry.
Question then.
Yeah, go on.
You do this every year. Yeah. After Ramadan, after Eid, shall we say, how long does it stick for?
A while. Quite a while, yeah. Because it's become a habit for the month.
Yeah.
I'm reluctant to reach out for the same kind of stuff pre-Ramadan.
Over time, it just kind of...
Yeah, and by that time, you know what? I mean, you know, I do a fair bit in other work and DIY stuff at home sometimes. And, you know, even if it's something doesn't need to be doing.
So in the months coming up to Ramadan, have you probably sort of gone off track a little bit? Like, I think now you're not really cycling in that example, for example.
It's too wet outside to cycle.
That's lame. But you know in your head...
Safety. I did my risk assessment and the hazard risk rating was quite high.
When it's raining outside on your bicycle.
On my bicycle.
So, for example, now, you know in a couple of months, it's Ramadan again.
Yeah.
I'm going to kickstart again. I'm going to do this.
Yeah. And I look forward to it.
And I think people are the same with New Year's. I think they'll start off well. And then come summertime, they'll, you know, think about summer bods and this, that, and guns out.
No, but you see, the thing is, for me, it's not a case of, look, I'm doing it because of X, Y, or Z. For me, it's like a 1 month of a factory reset. Do you know what I mean? 1 month of a grand reset. I mean, it's not just that. It's not just my eating habits. My lifestyle changes. I'm off social media. I'm no longer on Facebook. You know that. I come off Facebook for a whole month. And it helps me to recalibrate, you know what I mean? Spiritually and physically and, all sorts of things. So I love that period of time in my life, I really enjoy it. But the thing is, I don't say I'm going to be like that for the rest of the year. New Year's resolution, people sometimes think, I want to lose weight. Okay. But they don't know how much weight. I'm not.
That's another problem with resolutions. There's no end goal. Are you just going to do it for the whole year? Are you going to, lose, 5 kilos or whatever and then stop and then treat yourself? Are you going to treat yourself after each kg lost? What are you going to do? I think if people started to do that, they'd succeed a lot more.
I think so too. Yeah. I mean, if they were specific in what they wanted to achieve, then maybe they may not put a time, they may not put a restriction on how long they're going to wait. It's not going to be like, okay, it's going to be a month of January. They might say, look, 1 week every month, I'm going to do this. Or 4 days or 5 days or 8 days every month, I'm going to do some, intermittent fasting.
What are the other ones out there? Because there's a month to... Is it stop drinking? And then there's one for stop smoking, and there's one to kind of...
Those are days, aren't they?
Is it days?
Yeah, they only give you a day.
Oh, that's rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's one to grow your mustache as well in there. What's that one?
Oh, that's Movember. That's
Movember.
Month,
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's Stoptober. There's a lot out there, but I think you know what?
October?
Stoptober.
What's that for?
I think they stop something. I don't know what they do. Maybe they
I don't know.
stop.
It doesn't stop you from anything, does it?
I'm not a stop kind of guy. But
throttle.
Willpower is a phenomenal thing. It's people don't understand it until they've actually achieved something, and they think, "Hang on, I could have done this all my life. I could have done this any time." Why is that? Why is there so many? I mean, you're a coach, and there's so many other coaches out there, and their basic job or their basic goal is to bring out what's already in people.
Yeah, that's the main thing. You've hit the nail on the head. The problem we have with people generally wanting to achieve things is they're not specific enough. Now, as a coach, I would say to my clients, the first thing I would say is, I can only help you if you're wanting to be helped.
Or you want to help yourself, yeah.
Yeah. And most people, when they say, I want to do this, I don't want to do that, I need help and stuff, when they're at the stage where they actually say, I need help, you need to take that seriously. Yeah. People who want to create a change, they will have it in their mindset, first of all, the desire. The desire is one thing. You've got different levels, haven't you? The job of a coach isn't to kind of make the changes for the client. It's to ask the right questions for them to come up with the right answers for themselves. That's what a coach does. A mentor is different. A mentor helps you do certain things, right? Even if you've got, I mean, in this particular context of coaching, when you got coaching in physical fitness and stuff like that, that's something different. Yeah. The coach again would use the same tools of using that client's inner voice and inner desires to come with the answers themselves. They'll be there to push them on stuff. But in this context that I was referring to, the coach doesn't do that. The coach is, if good coach will know how to ask the right question for that person to come up with the right answer, or the answer of theirs. That's the right answer. Their answer is the right answer. Whatever they say, whatever that one answer they come out with, that's their right answer. No answer is the same for everybody. And it's not going to be right for everybody. What you deem appropriate may not be what somebody else deems appropriate. It's what you as an individual.
I think what I deem appropriate, most people deem inappropriate. That's fairly safe to say. But then again, that's the controversial.
That's the controversial in you, yeah.
But I was looking at a list of what's the sort of top 10 New Year's resolutions, and they're the very generic stuff. Lose weight, exercise more, eat healthier, save money or spend less. Whichever way you want to look at it. Learn something new. I wasn't expecting that one, but I think that's a value. That's a good one. Quit smoking. Okay. I think that's going to come up on an annual basis. It's like the lose weight one, isn't it? Yeah. Read more or read at all, because I don't actually remember the last time I read a book.
I'm not a reader.
Is that bad?
No, I'm not a reader. I don't like to read. you have different methods and styles of learning. Different people have different styles of learning. Some, they learn from an auditory way, listening to things, some visuals, some...
That's fantastic. An audiobook, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I haven't done that either. I'm not saying I have, but it's
some are more hands-on, kinesthetic, as they call it in terms of the learning style. You have so many different ways of learning. You need to know what your learning style is, the best learning style. This is one of the reasons when you go to, like in schools and stuff, people
that did not work for me, man.
Yeah, you just put on a conveyor belt system.
I'm not saying I didn't get it, but the classroom style of learning with 30 other kids all being taught the same thing, even though I might be struggling with something else, within that subject, but because we all have to look at this one blackboard or one whiteboard and just, focus on the same thing, and we've skimmed over everything else. The school just never worked for me. It wasn't good time.
Isn't the school-based system now? They're obviously looking at different changes, but times when I was at school, shortly after when you were at school, and shortly after that, those
I think you left school before I got to school.
Come on, what year did you?
We'll
leave
say
school?
shortly after.
What year did you leave school? Oh, what year did you get to high school? What was the year?
Okay, so I left high school in 1999.
Left high school?
Yeah, I was done.
No.
Yeah.
What like GCSEs?
Yeah, GCSE. I was done with education in 1999.
Wow.
But to be fair, I tried college a couple of times and A levels, and
I was in my second year at uni in 99.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were you were a grown up by then. I was just
of course.
Read more, change jobs. I was surprised to see that one. I think that's
Why do you think people have... I mean, somebody mention earlier on, they think that it's going to be more challenging for people to commit to any kind of New Year resolution given the current circumstances. I mean, let's just take getting a new job as an example. Because of what's going on with COVID and stuff, and people are having to be restricted in so many different ways. Do you think that's going to have an effect with those people who really want to change their jobs?
I think I tell you what I foresee in that category is that people are going to look for jobs, careers, businesses even that are COVID proof. Like key workers or essential businesses and stuff like that. People are going to go into food and whatever else. The problem is by the time you get into it, by the time you establish, COVID is probably gone now.
Might bring a new COVID out. COVID 2025 or something.
Yeah, but this is COVID. But this is the thing. I think COVID has took over the platform of life. It's just everywhere and everything. And if you're trying to change career now, just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. It's okay. COVID proof is one thing, but like future proof. I think our focus should be on future proof rather than, anything else.
Yeah, but you mentioned that changing jobs was one of the common resolutions
throughout
made.
the years. It has been, yeah.
Why do you think people don't fulfill that if 80% people fail? I wonder if out of those 80% people who fail to commit to their resolutions, how many of those 80% is going to be people who want to change jobs?
Changing jobs is probably the only one in the top 10 that you can't just start straight away. Because changing the job in itself is the goal, right? For example, eating healthier, going to the gym, riding your bike, reading a book, spending less money, spending family. You can do that from the 1st of Jan. But you start that on the 1st of January, isn't it? Changing jobs is just something you say, look, I'm going to do that in 2020. When am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? It's taking step 1 and step 2, isn't it? That's the major plunge that I see in that top 10. Why do people struggle? I think it's hesitancy. Because it's not just changing jobs. It's not going from...
Because it's not going to affect just their...
It's not going from working at Burger King to working at KFC. I don't think that's what people mean, is it? It's career path, isn't it?
I don't even know if it's a career, because I distinguish between a job and a career. Some people are happy in a job, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people just want to do the 9 to 5 or whatever shift patterns they have in a factory, go and do their thing, come back, they know what hours they're working, what days they're working, and that some people are happy with that.
I'm not keen on that.
You may not be, but there are some people...
Not for myself, but I think generally as a mindset, I've always had an issue with it. Can I pinpoint why? Probably not. I just think the 9 to 5 life is something that all of us have to go through, whether it's through college or uni or your early years or your latter years or at any difficult point in life. But I think to be fully and completely comfortable with 9 to 5 or a Monday to Friday or shift work or a fixed salary for life and think I'm just going to live out the rest of my years on this wage from this person, I think you're selling yourself short for the majority of cases.
Maybe, but that's your opinion. That's not their opinion.
No, it's
Those
not.
people who enjoy it, that's fine.
I think it's the mindset of so many people settling into that, especially young people. I don't like young people to settle like that.
Look, you may not like them to be settling in like that, but they may be totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Because that's just them.
Yeah.
That it suits their personality. There may be risk averse in taking any risks. They may see, okay, this is a job, but it's a long-term job. This job gives me the opportunity to earn a reasonable income. It's got attached with it some benefits. It's got attached with it some kind of pension. You know, at this age, I can retire. Why should I even bother looking elsewhere? Look, that's the mindset, and that's totally fine for them if that's what they want, the security. Obviously, nothing's 100%. There are risks in even having a job like that because you just never know. Look what COVID has done to many jobs,
This
right?
is it. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is.
So do you think then when people say change job, do you think it's just changing employer rather than career path or
I think people
field?
I think most people want to change where they work, not because of the job itself, but because the people who they work with.
Yeah.
In a job situation. If they're wanting to change, they could want to move from a McDonald's to a KFC. They could. Maybe they like the culture at KFC better. Maybe there's something at McDonald's which they're not, they're comfortable with.
They just don't like the ice cream machine being broken all the time.
Maybe they don't like.
That's a very valid reason.
Maybe they
if you're working at McDonald's,
but you know what? KFC's ice cream machine is just as bad.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is, though, they may not like something else about McDonald's and might be coming down to ethics. But who are we to say? I'm just saying.
Okay, so change jobs, that was an interesting one. Probably one of the most difficult ones to do for people who are quite set in their ways.
Zishan's actually got a really good question here. It says, do you think people struggle because they don't know how to change or set a goal? 100% Zishan.
That's it.
You've nailed it. I think he's just nailed it. Yeah.
Drink less or drink more. So drink more water, but less of the sugary stuff or the other stuff.
The other stuff?
Yeah, there's other stuff.
For what?
You have to show your ID to get that. I don't know if you're...
Okay. I'm not old enough.
No. Spend more time with family and friends. Get organized. How would you even scope that? How would you measure that? Get organized is on the top 10.
I don't know. I if somebody saw my desk, they would say it's a mess. I call it organized mess. Because I know where the stuff is. Yeah, I do like the simplistic, what's that word? Minimalism, yeah.
How did I know that? See,
yeah. So I like the minimalist kind of look about my office, but sometimes there are all sorts of notes and pads and papers and stuff. Even though I've got a computer in front of me, I still am in the habit of sometimes writing notes because it just kind of, this is my kinesthetic anchor for me in coaching or NLP terms. Like, it's like I've written something, I've created an anchor. It's like it's in me now, so it helps me remember because I've got a bad memory otherwise. I know there are loads of tools to kind of help with people with bad memory, but that's my way anyway.
Badam is one of them.
Badam is one of them, yeah. Or pink tea with some piste and stuff in them. We make that at home quite regularly.
But wouldn't that contradict with the whole sweetness is your weakness, losing weight type?
I didn't say I was going to lose weight.
Did you not?
You keep saying that.
Oh, sorry. I'm not implying that you're fat. I'm not.
Don't
categorically
press your resolutions onto me.
Onto you.
Keep them to yourself. Sweetness is my weakness, and I have no
qualms, no issues.
Yeah. So when people want to be more organized, maybe they're saying, okay, I want to make sure that everything's filed and everything is there's a system in place. Simple things like I get. It's quite funny because I get. quite a few comments on the way I manage my, the important documents in life. Your passports or your birth certificates or your kids' birth certificates and passports and stuff like that. So I've got a filing cabinet which I keep everything in. Yeah,
I couldn't tell you any one of those things is.
But beyond that, check this out. Beyond that, I have everything scanned and I've got it on a cloud drive, with folders for each person's name, with folders for what they are. Like if there's me, Majid, there'll be a folder for passport, folder for driving license, folder for birth certificate. Everything's in like a proper filing. So right now, if anybody says
you're like your own secretary, aren't you?
I guess I was trying to be, it's about trying to work smart, isn't it? So no matter where I am in the world, if I need access to any particular document, I've got it. Yeah. As long as I've got internet connection. If I lose my passport and everything, it's all there. I know where to get what
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So I get really particular about it. So maybe someone thinks they need to get more organized like in that way. Maybe you should adopt that resolution.
I actually do. Forget about birth certificates and traveling documents and stuff. The number of times I've missed my car's MOT, and I'm not just saying missed the date, missed the month. By months, many times over.
Oh my goodness! Are you publicly admitting that on live?
Numerous times over.
It's illegal. It's illegal.
Never once have I missed my MOT. Not once. Not by a day. Not by a second.
But sometimes you think that you've missed it for so many months.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I've thought many times I'm going to organize it this way. I'm going to put up a notice board. I'm going to set reminders. I'm actually surprised at your level of organization. I've not known anyone to scan all the documents and put them into folders.
No, I do that. That's because
brilliant.
One of the problems I have is I have a bad memory, and what I ate yesterday, I probably won't remember. If you have to really rack my brains to think about what is it that I ate yesterday. What did I have for breakfast? Sometimes I call my kids with different names. That's how bad it gets.
Your own kids' names.
My own kids, But you know what? It is. In your words, it is what it is, right? So for me, I have to put extra steps in place as I go along.
But you've done that.
But I've done it, yeah.
That's brilliant. Okay, so if you were to change one thing now, if you would think, I want to do something different. I want to change a habit. I want to change a lifestyle. I want to eat differently. I'm not saying you're fat. But if you were wanting to do one thing, you don't have to say what it is. How would you go about it? How would you start? What do you do?
I think for me, if there was something I wanted to achieve or something I wanted badly enough, or I wanted to change, even, it would have to be, as Ahmed mentioned earlier, it would have to be a lifestyle and a habit, a habitual change. So what I do on a regular basis would reflect that I'm working towards that change. In some way, it may not even be as quick a results as you may want it to be, but there will be the results. For me, change doesn't have to be related to any particular time, unless it's time specific change that's required. Yeah. For me, it's like somebody asked the question, or somebody made the comment about becoming wise. How does wisdom suddenly kind of become instilled in an individual? And they mentioned time, as you grow, when you grow older, you start to become wiser. I disagree with that anyway, because I don't think everybody becomes older as they become, wiser as they become older. I think you can have a really young person who is really wise and a really old person who's not so wise. I think inherently some people are born with this
direction, though, isn't it? Surely
I think it's experience, not time. It's experience which builds on your wisdom, not time. You could spend 50 years doing the same thing over and over again. You're not going to get any different experience. How much is that going to have an effect on your wisdom? But the more you have experienced in so many different facets of your personal or professional life, that will give you experiences of interactions, of dealings, and all sorts of things. And that, for me personally, kind of builds on your wisdom. You know how to deal with it. If I'm meeting lots of different people all the time, you'd think that I should wisen up on how to deal with certain types of personalities, right? But if I'm meeting only one person every day, or 5 people in the space of a month, every month, then How do I know how to interact with other
It's
personalities?
actually quite interesting. Yes.
So for me personally, it's not time, it's experiences which have an effect on your.
So the issue with resolutions then is they're not planned properly. Is that what we're saying? Not the goal in itself. I mean, we read through that list about, weight and careers and reading and family. None of it is unobtainable. None of it's particularly difficult or far-fetched, right? So are we in agreement that the number one issue is planning and coordinating? Yeah. So the work before the work isn't there. The foundation isn't set. Because wanting to lose weight is a straightforward goal. Wanting to dress different, wanting to wake up earlier, wanting to, I don't know, go to the gym, wanting to read books, wanting to spend time with your family, wanting to, I don't know, work at Burger King.
Yeah.
In itself, it can be done, right? Some things take longer than others.
Yeah.
Is it the homework? Is it the work before the work?
In some cases, yeah, it is, isn't it?
I think so, for most of it.
Yeah, for some cases it is. Some cases it can be achieved.
Why else do you think goals fail?
And the main reason they fail is because people don't want them badly enough. They're not goals. They're just wishes. They're dreams.
That's true. I think that's a difficult thing to admit. For most people, it is difficult to admit that you just don't want it enough.
Yeah.
How many times do you hear people say, "Oh, I want to wake up earlier in the morning"?
Yeah, you see, some of those things are mostly because people don't want it enough. Some of those things, as Zishan asked earlier on, is because people genuinely don't know how to go about making that change. Or they've not discovered how to make that change most efficiently. There's one thing making a change. There's another thing making a change efficiently. Or doing anything efficiently. Efficiency is not there. And sometimes people are daunted by the prospect of having to want to achieve, or even the prospect of achieving perfection. And what we have to remember is when we're wanting to achieve certain goals, you don't stop because you've not achieved certain points of that goal perfectly. Do you know what I mean? There are different stages of having every goal. You got, if your overall goal, let's just say, is to buy a house, as an example, your interim goals, your short-term or mid-term goals. I mean, I'm not personally keen on having long-term goals. I'm against having long-term goals. It doesn't work for me. I don't think it works for everybody either. It's okay talking about it. It's good sound bites, but having long.
What do you mean long-term goal? Anything that's
having
5 years?
Yeah, 5 years or 10-year goals. I don't buy it. I used to when I was a lot younger in my sales days.
So you're not one of these people that ask everyone, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, look, to be honest, I think, again, going back to what Ahmed was saying earlier on, once you are changing your lifestyle and your habits are reflecting your own values, and you've discovered what you've unearthed and discovered what your purpose and passions are, your habits are reflecting that, those goals will be achieved anyway. The universe has this way of kind of swinging those things into your circle anyway. And if it's not, then it's not, and you're not going to fret about it. You just don't worry about that kind of thing. I think most people who have attained a higher level of consciousness, for them, it's not usually a financial or a monetary or physical kind of goal that they kind of always strive for. For them, it's always workings of their inner self, to maintain some form of an equilibrium with themselves and having a good, healthy mind and body, and attaining contentment and maintaining that contentment. People, from my experience, and some people can disagree, but from my experience, I was talking to someone 2 days ago, somebody who's a very successful businessman, very successful, and it says, Majid, because he knows some of my background and how I came into sales and what my financial earnings were and stuff like that. He goes, Majid, when is it that people are going to realize that earning lots of money or being successful in business doesn't always make you happy? It doesn't equal happiness. And he's a successful businessman. He himself went through a lot of kind of mental health challenges. Well, he's still going through mental health challenges because of lockdowns and stuff.
I think we all are, isn't it? whether we care to admit it or address it or not, but it's always there. But you're right, monetary goals, yeah, not great, are they? Probably not the best way to look at things.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes you can't just take that lesson on until you've gone through it yourself. People say, "Oh, you're just saying that,"
because you are a millionaire. You've got a house and a car and everything, so you can say that. Yeah,
or you've got what I'm striving for, and it's okay for you to say that. Or you've been there. You've had the times when you've earned £1,000.
It's very rare, though. It's very rare to hear a rags to riches story, or just somebody that's well off, and think it's the money and the cars and the houses that made me happy. It's really not. You don't hear that.
You don't.
Whereas you hear the other side of the fence. You hear celebrities and millionaires and entrepreneurs and say, look, it's very hollow life.
Yeah.
You've got to fulfill it with something else and other substance. So, okay, so monetary goals, resolutions, whatever, probably not that great. Long-term goals, you say.
Yeah. Oh, for me, they don't. I don't hold much to them. It depends on what the goal is relating to. If it's a personal life thing, I mean, I don't buy it. If it's a professional goal,
you must have had some long-term goals personally.
When I was a lot younger, when I was in my 20s, early 20s.
It's a lot younger.
A few just a couple of years ago, in my 20s,
we can edit that out, don't worry.
Around 2 decades ago, right? I was motivated to make changes or achieve certain goals, and one of the things that I was forced to or brought into by my mentors at the time was to have these long-term goals as well. What about having a yacht and chilling on your yacht, and thinking of those kind of things. A yacht isn't for everyone, I learned.
So was there a point in your life where you were working towards a yacht?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you get inspired by different people in different ages. Yeah. And I think that was a good experience for me to have, because it opened my eyes to something completely different, something I never knew existed in terms of lifestyle, buying a brand new car out of a showroom. I did that early, 21, 22 or something, a sports car, first one in the UK with a certain type of look to it, living in city centre, Manchester, central apartments on Deansgate with some celebrities. It was lifestyle. It was a choice that I was made to work towards. And I accepted it, and I'm glad I did it. It gave me an experience. It gave me enough experience to know that what's worth working for and what isn't. Yeah. What is it that I want in life? What isn't that I want in life? Do you know what I mean? So I'm glad I had those experiences, because it's given me a different outlook to my life. Otherwise, who knows? But at this stage, I might still be working towards those things, thinking that's where success is.
That's what it is, isn't it? The fact that you achieved it, the fact that you got it, and you've seen what it's all about. You've got to the top of the mountain. You've looked around. You thought, the yacht never happened, though, right?
No.
Come on, bro.
I went on a yacht, but I didn't buy one.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been on a plane, but it's not this.
No, I've been on we were having this discussion about planes and flights.
Yeah.
But that was a different experience, wasn't it? Flying 24, 26 times a year.
Yeah.
To the Middle East. It was a great experience. Again, would I want that as a lifestyle choice? Before I did it, yeah.
Yeah. Now, the fact that you've done it, there's nothing there, is it?
It's okay short term.
Might not quite match as an example, but people from overseas wanting to come to the West, the UK, the US, Canada.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
We can tell them till their cows come home.
I had somebody on Facebook the other day. Actually, did I post about it a couple of months ago? Somebody who wanted me to sponsor him to.
I think you mentioned it. Yeah, yeah. So we could tell them, bro, you're all right there in the village. You have your own cow in your yard. You drink milk when you want, and you walk the field and everything. Yeah. Here, you're going to be in a factory.
You've got a stream, a river right next to you. You've got the shops there. You've got fresh fruit cultivating and fresh vegetables.
You've got your own land.
You've got your own land. You've got a mansion of a house in comparison into the size of our houses.
And they're like, nah, bro, I want to go to the UK.
You just don't want me to get there.
Canada.
You just don't. You're just jealous.
You want all the bond for yourself.
Exactly.
And that's what it is.
But
it's true. Until you haven't achieved it, until you haven't seen it, felt it,
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean,
it doesn't.
I think coming back to the resolutions, New Year's resolutions, I think what's ended up happening is people have fallen into this, they've bought into this habit, this lifestyle, this culture. It's become a culture of creating New Year's resolutions. And they've felt that, okay, now might be that time for me to actually make. Sometimes I think, I don't really want to change anything. I like being fat. I like being like this. I like, lazying around. I don't want to get active. But they say it to somebody just for the sake of saying it. I think it's become a culture to make New Year's resolution. For me, I think it's a farce. I personally think it's a farce.
I think it's a good culture. I'm not generally for these gimmicks and stuff.
I think if people wanted to make changes, they
can do it anytime.
If you're waiting for New Year's to arrive to make a resolution, it's definitely a farce. You don't want it at all. You're just making excuses. Then being harsh, but that's the way I see it.
Well, they want a Christmas dinner and they want all the puddings and so it fits, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think those people who have come close to the end of a year and think, you know what, with reflection, like COVID is a typical example. With reflection, I think there's certain changes that I need to make for my future, given what I've realized, what I have either gained or lost throughout this last year, 2020. In which case, I wouldn't say it's a farce. It's probably sensible that you at least chose to make a change, right? The more important thing is your reasoning, your foundations for wanting to make a change, that has to be strong for your change to occur and for you to stick to a resolution. If your why isn't strong enough, you're not going to commit to anything in life.
You really
forget
not.
a New Year's resolution. Yeah. You're not going to commit to anything.
I think that's true. That's actually a good point. Is it if it's something that's too easy for you to put off today or tomorrow or now, then come New Year, come January, you probably won't be as motivated in any sense, because what's the difference really?
Oh, I've just noticed Ahmed's point put loads of different thoughts up there. Sorry, loads of good thoughts up there. His final thoughts of if you can't make and keep a new day resolution, you're very unlikely to keep a new month resolution.
Yeah, and a new year resolution doesn't even get a look.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take the time period thing out of it, and let's do our own final thoughts.
Go on.
Resolutions, goals, aspirations, things that you want to achieve in themselves, they're great. The failure is what? Is planning it properly and setting yourself little landmarks.
I think it goes way before then. Before you even plan it, do you even know why you want that goal?
Does it matter?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to lose weight. Yeah.
Why do you want to lose weight?
Does it matter? This is the point, though, isn't it?
It does matter.
Okay, so the reason behind you wanting to do something is important, right?
It's more important than just saying that you want to do something, yeah.
Okay.
I'd say the reason is the foundation for your wanting to do something and carrying it out.
And that's what's going to make it, that's going to be your why, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Those are my final thoughts.
I like those thoughts. I'm thinking about kebabs now. It's not helping at all. But right, have we come to the end of our show already?
I think we have.
Yes, we have. Right. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to New Year Old Me. Is it New Year Old Me? Is it New Year New Me? Is the solution in resolutions? Is it? Do you understand and do you realize the potential of your own potential? I'm just doubling up on words there. But anyway, it's been a fascinating show. I'm sure a lot of you are going to sit back and listen to it afterwards and think about it, as are we. I am. I don't know about Majid. He's perfectly happy with his life and doesn't want to change anything.
No. If I want to make any changes, I'll make them as I go along. Fine tuning. You see, there's proactive ways of making changes.
Yeah.
There are reactive ways of making changes, and that's after something negative has happened and you realize a change has to be made. Most people think of being proactive and reactive. There's a middle way. It's called interactive.
I thought you were going to say the middle finger there. I was like,
there is a middle.
I know, from me and Master Shifu here, that's it for this episode. Inshallah, we'll be back next week. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Beardos Media, Twitter as well, right?
Twitter as well, yeah.
Yeah, until next week, inshallah. We'll see you then.
Take care. Have a good one.